What does ChatGPT think about CrossFit? In this episode of the podcast, I'm going to ask the uber controversial artificial intelligence to give a hot take on the uber controversial fitness methodology we all know as CrossFit. Stick around.
Welcome to the CrossFit Edwardsville Community Podcast, where we hear and learn from our coaches, CrossFitters, and Glen Ed community leaders. Now, here are your hosts, Dallas and Greg.
What is up, party people? I think everybody by this point has heard of ChatGPT, the extremely controversial and extremely impressive artificial intelligence that can answer very complex questions in very thoughtful ways, or also write your term paper for you in a matter of seconds. Maybe it's the ultimate cheating tool in academia, and more, maybe it can give us some useful insights. Maybe it is the wave of the future that'll help to save the world, or maybe the artificial intelligence that will ultimately become Skynet and destroy all of us, like in Terminator 2 Judgment Day. But I was curious to ask this artificial intelligence what it thought about CrossFit, because much like the growing artificial intelligence movement in our lives, CrossFit had a reputation of being super anti-establishment, and it's going to destroy, it's going to lead to just death and destruction, and CrossFit can kill you, and there's all of these things. Like, CrossFit's extreme reputation definitely preceded it in a lot of ways when it was discovered here in America by the founder, Greg Glassman. It was extremely controversial for doing all kinds of wild things that were very, very different than the establishment, than normal fitness programs were doing. It was so revolutionary and so different. And a lot of people looked at it from the outside. They didn't understand what they were seeing when they first looked at CrossFit. And they were like, wow, like, I don't know what muscle they're working, because they're doing movements that use all the muscles. Like, why would you pair this movement with that movement? It's never been done before. That's because we're challenging our bodies in wild and different ways to help us become very well prepared for anything that life or sports or combat could throw at us. Like, we're using these constantly very functional movements at high intensity in ways that hadn't really been seen, or, like, at least on this stage at this level. CrossFit was like super revolutionary and super controversial. And so over the years, for the last 15 years, I've been doing CrossFit, and I've seen a dramatic shift in the perception of CrossFit. Like, initially, the tagline in CrossFit was forging elite fitness, and there was this Pukey the Clown mascot early on. Fast forward to now, CrossFit's tagline is making people better, because there's been an evolution in people's understanding of CrossFit. CrossFit is much more mainstream now than it was back in the days of its underground or garage roots. In many places, CrossFit is far more refined. It's a far more well-oiled machine. I certainly see that at CrossFit Edwardsville. It's a much more polished presence than it was in the early days. And a lot of people inherently now understand that CrossFit is not the dangerous menace that it was reputed to be in the early days, but it probably has a ton of validity as a really effective and exciting training methodology. So there's a lot of complex back history and backstory that goes into evaluating, is CrossFit good for me? Is CrossFit good for you? Is it a good idea if you want to look good, feel good, perform at your best, live your best life? So I wanted to throw this question to ChatGPT to see what ChatGPT would say, because ChatGPT, pulling information from the interwebs, is probably going to be picking up on the raw, unsophisticated origins of CrossFit, and then also balancing it against the much more mainstream and refined CrossFit we know today. So I'm going to reveal to you guys now what ChatGPT had to say to me about CrossFit. So let me go ahead and make an adjustment on my window so I can read this to you guys. It was super interesting. So I said, "Hi, ChatGPT," and it responded, "Hello, how can I assist you today?" ChatGPT is so polite. I asked, "Should I try CrossFit if I want to get in shape?" And ChatGPT responded, "CrossFit is a popular form of exercise that combines weightlifting, gymnastics, and cardio to provide a high-intensity workout. If you're looking to get in shape, CrossFit could be a great option, but it's important to keep in mind that it may not be the best choice for everyone. CrossFit can be very challenging, and it's important to start slowly and build up gradually to avoid injury. Additionally, it's important to have proper form and technique when performing the exercises to avoid injury and get the most out of the workout. If you have a history of joint or muscle problems, or if you're new to exercise, it may be a good idea to start with a less intense form of exercise before trying CrossFit. However, if you're in good physical condition and are looking for a challenging and effective workout, CrossFit may be a great option for you. Ultimately, the decision to try CrossFit should be based on your own fitness level, goals, and preferences. If you're interested in trying CrossFit, it may be a good idea to consult with a personal trainer or fitness professional who can help you to determine if it's the right choice for you." And ChatGPT answer. So I'd like to respond now. First of all, I continue to be impressed with ChatGPT. This is a very thoughtful answer that kind of balances the two worlds of CrossFit's reputation. And overall, like I'd say, this is a fair answer. Now, I want to say this because a couple times it references injury in here. Right off the bat, you don't want to get hurt. You don't want to get injured. You got a lot going on with your life, probably, if you're listening to this podcast. If you're anything like the average CrossFitter, you're a working professional, you're married, you have kids, you maybe have a history of exercise, and you're coming to us because you're either stuck or you're bored of the average gym thing. And you just know that you would do better with a coach and guidance and the energy of the environment that would push us all to do more than we would do on our own, and makes it way more fun, way more exciting, as well as more effective to do workouts, the CrossFit workouts. Now, that's probably where you're coming to us from that context or that frame of reference. And right off the bat, I want to say, ain't nobody got time for getting hurt. Nobody got time for that. You don't, I don't. So let's be sure right off the bat that's not going to happen. Here is a list, a non-exhaustive list of activities that have a measurable, demonstrable, consistent, higher injury rate than CrossFit. I'm just going to say that again before I go into this list. Here's a non-exhaustive list of activities that are measurably and provably through data less safe than CrossFit. Basketball, baseball, hockey, soccer, football, any sort of long distance running of any sort, cheerleading. That's just a starter list. It's not exhaustive. But if you consider soccer a safe activity, if you consider baseball a safe activity, I've got great news for you. CrossFit is provably safer than that and everything else that I just listed as well, especially safer than long distance running. Do you consider running to be a safe activity? I've got great news for you. The data actually shows CrossFit is a safer activity than that. Now, I don't bring this up because I want to bash the major national sports. I just want to prop up CrossFit as this incredible methodology that not only helps you look great, feel great, do all kinds of cool stuff, and meet all kinds of cool people and live your best life. I just want to prop it up as an amazing training methodology that is definitively a better way of exercising for most people. Now, toward the points here, should you focus on proper form and technique when performing the exercises? Hell yes, you should. One of the cool things about having a CrossFit coach is they're actually going to make you do that. Additionally, should you start slowly and build up gradually? Hell yes, you should. ChatGPT is exactly right about that. In fact, I would say this, that one way you can gauge whether or not a CrossFit gym is one that you want to be a part of is, does that CrossFit gym have a structured onboarding process and a required foundational program for people who are new to CrossFit? Or do they just take you, throw you into a group class, and then just pray that things go well? I'm very proud that CrossFit Edwardsville actually has a required onboarding, foundations, whatever you want to call it, program for transitioning from not being a CrossFitter to being a CrossFitter. It is required. Everybody who's new to this goes through an onboarding process that is, first of all, structured, but then also it is individualized and tailored and tweaked to what that person needs. Some people need more as they transition into CrossFit. Some people need less. But the punchline is that you should absolutely have some sort of onboarding or foundations or what do you call it, on-ramp program. If you are new to CrossFit, getting started with CrossFit, absolutely you should. And I'm glad that ChatGPT is pointing that out. ChatGPT's characterization of CrossFit, that it combines weightlifting, gymnastics, and cardio, yes, that is accurate. In CrossFit worlds, the weightlifting components involve stuff with barbells, plates, dumbbells, kettlebells, resistance exercises like bands. Gymnastics is a fancy term for all body weight exercises, not just stuff that you would see on a gymnastics routine, but also sit-ups, air squats, push-ups are all gymnastics also in CrossFit worlds. And what they call cardio, we call monostructural. It's you're running, you're rowing, you're biking, you're skiing, swimming. All those things fit in the monostructural category. And one of the cool things about CrossFit is that it includes all of these elements in one program. So you don't just work on your strength, you also work on your cardio, your conditioning. And we embrace 10 domains, 10 qualities of fitness in CrossFit: strength, flexibility, cardiorespiratory endurance, muscular stamina, speed and power, agility, coordination, balance, and accuracy. If you want that in your life, reach out to us. We'd love to talk to you about it. You can learn more about us on all the socials. Find CrossFit Edwardsville on all the social accounts. Then when you're ready, reach out to us. Visit CrossFitEdwardsville.com. Book a no sweat conversation to talk to one of our coaches about your CrossFit journey. And we look forward to talking to you and meeting you. This is Coach G signing out. Big shout out to the contributor to the podcast, ChatGPT. I appreciate you, artificial intelligence, for now, until you become Skynet and it becomes a problem. But for all of my listeners out there, thank you also for joining us today. Have yourselves a beautiful and blessed day, and we'll see you in the next podcast.